A shooting on the city's north side leaves one man in critical condition this New Year's Day.
A Boyle County mother is facing charges after police say two of her young children were found standing in the middle of a busy intersection.
It's been nearly a week, but Louisville coach Rick Pitino can't seem to put what happened after last week's UK game behind him. What he had to say when asked about it again today.
This is WKYT News at 5.
Good afternoon. A man is in critical condition after Lexington's first shooting of the new year.
That shooting happened around 5 a.m. on Roosevelt Boulevard off Georgetown Street. So far, no one has been arrested. WKYT's Caitlin Sentner is tracking the investigation in our top story at 5.
Neighbors say they were asleep when shots were fired mere feet from their doorsteps. Lexington police want to know what led to shots fired. Police were called to the 400 block of Roosevelt Boulevard on the city's north end just after 5 o'clock this morning. They arrived to find a 28-year-old male unresponsive and suffering multiple gunshot wounds. Police say he was shot 2 to 3 times, once in the head and once in the chest. He was transported to UK hospital in critical condition and taken into surgery. He remains hospitalized at this hour. The shooting happened in front of this residence right by this blue truck. Police still don't know why the victim was in front of the residence. Howard Underwood lives there.
I didn't know nothing about it. I didn't get home to about 2 o'clock this morning.
Underwood says he just moved to the area, and after the shooting, he worries for his family.
Yeah, I heard about his background through here. Because anybody tell you when New Year's come in, you're going to hear gunshots and everything.
Police went door to door trying to gather information this morning. Tonight, they continue to investigate. In Lexington, Caitlin Sentner, WKYT.
And right now, police say they have no persons of interest in this case.
A mother is spending New Year's Day in jail after police say they found her children alone in the middle of a road. Carla Martin is charged with endangering the welfare of a child for the incident in Junction City. Police say the children were barefoot and not dressed for the cold. WKYT's Victor Puente shows what it took for police to track Martin down.
Junction City police say those two children were found standing on the train tracks behind me. Their mother is now facing charges, partly because of how long police say it took her to call for help. Police say a man driving to work on West Shelby Street yesterday morning came to a sudden stop.
When he noticed 2 very small children, toddlers, that were standing on the yellow line at the railroad crossing.
Baldwin says the driver asked the 2- and 5-year-old where they were going, and the toddlers jumped in his car. He took them to the police station, where the search for their parents began.
There was a lapse time of about 45 minutes to an hour before we located the mother, which had called in to our 911 center saying that she had lost her children.
The chief says Carla Martin told police she hadn't called yet because she was enlisting the help of neighbors to track down her kids.
Speaking to some of the neighbors, she had just contacted them and asked them if she had, if the neighbors had saw the children, and that was about it.
Her apartment is about 1/8 of a mile from where they were found. She was arrested and charged with 2 counts of endangering the welfare of a minor. While I was getting video of the apartment, a man who identified himself as the children's father came out and screamed at me to leave.
Seriously, I'm not joking, man.
I understand.
These are my kids you're talking about, and I'm ready to get really pissed. Move out, man. Move out, dude!
Police tell me they placed the children in the custody of relatives until this case is resolved. Chief Baldwin tells me his department is working with social services. It's possible there could be more charges in this case. In Boyle County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Martin is in the Boyle County Detention Center on a $4,000 bond. Well, after an unusually warm December, we're starting January with more seasonable weather.
It is going to be a chilly weekend, but we will at least have the sun out there. WKYT meteorologist Jim Caldwell's here now with your forecast.
And we're tracking that sunshine in many different locations out there now after starting off with some clouds for a better part of the day. Our live look across Kentucky, including Corbin, Frankfort, Jackson, and here in Lexington, all have one thing in common. It's chilly, and well, maybe two things in common. And we're still seeing nice sunny skies in most of these spots. All of us running in the upper 30s, which is a seasonable chill. We should be in the low 40s for daytime highs around this time of year. We're looking at our Defender radar network, and really no need to even check radar at this point because we're not talking about any showers or any snow showers. We will be eventually. They're going to be on their way into the area. We'll track a few flakes of snow, perhaps maybe even full-blown snow showers by the end of the weekend and into early next week. This evening, as you get out and about and you're traveling around, it is Friday. It's just New Year's Day Friday, 35 degrees. As you're out there this evening, and as we look to the overnight and early tomorrow morning, a few high, thin clouds with temperatures around 23 degrees. That is impressive. During the daytime hours by early next week, we'll hover around freezing, and that's even more impressive because we haven't seen a lot of that this year. Or, well, not this year, last year, this season. How about I'll say this season? We'll track the rest of the forecast changes coming up for you in just a few minutes.
All right, Jim, thank you. While many parts of Missouri remain swamped with floodwater, the situation is improving slightly. Floodwaters receded enough overnight to allow 2 St. Louis area interstates to reopen. Hundreds remain in shelters because their homes are flooded. The Humane Society of Missouri is also stepping in to care for 4-legged flood victims.
As people were leaving and people have been displaced, they've taken their animals with them, and we've been able to care for a lot of those animals for them.
So far, 15 people in Missouri have died because of flooding. Flooding could hit western Kentucky next week. The Ohio River isn't expected to crest until Thursday. Minor flooding has affected parts of Owensboro and Paducah. There's also been moderate flooding along the Green River in Muhlenberg County. Dozens of roads have been closed in western Kentucky because of high water. The music world is mourning the death of singer-songwriter Natalie Cole today.
The daughter of iconic singer Nat King Cole died of congestive heart failure at a Los Angeles hospital on New Year's Eve. Chris Martinez looks back at her life.
Her voice was unforgettable, the music in her blood. Natalie Cole followed in the footsteps of her famous father, Nat King Cole, finding her own voice and success along the way. Cole won the first of 9 Grammys in 1975 with the hit This Will Be. In 1979, she received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. But it was in 1991 when her popularity reached new heights with her hit Unforgettable, a virtual duet with her late father.
Thinks that I am unforgettable too.
But through years of success, there were setbacks. Cole developed an addiction to drugs and alcohol, entering a rehab program in 1983.
It was such a revelation, actually, for me to start liking myself after all these years. I didn't realize I was still grieving for my father at 30-something.
Cole was later diagnosed with hepatitis C and liver disease. She underwent a kidney transplant in 2009.
I am a walking testimony to you can have scars, you can go through turbulent times and still have victory in your life.
Cole recently canceled several tour dates, including a New Year's Eve performance due to her health. Natalie Cole was 65 years old. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Cole leaves behind sisters and a son. They issued a statement saying Natalie fought a fierce, courageous battle, dying how she lived, with dignity, strength, and honor. Our beloved mother and sister will be greatly missed and remain unforgettable in our hearts forever. The Wildcats begin SEC play tomorrow night at Rupp. They're coming off that big win over Louisville last weekend.
Today, Coach Rick Pitino talked again about what happened in the aftermath of that game. WKYT's Rob Bromley's here with more. Hi, Rob.
Hello, and it will be the opening game of the SEC for the Wildcats. Same two teams that opened conference play last season, Kentucky and Ole Miss. And the Cats are coming off a very hard-fought 75-73 victory over U of L. John Calipari expecting the SEC to be really competitive with plenty of close games.
I think every game is going to be within 8 points. We're not that team. I mean, we're just not. We are what we are. We're an energy team. We are a team that has to fight and play with great enthusiasm and make easy plays. And then it'll be an 8-point game, one way or another. And 5 minutes to go, you're like in a dogfight. That's what I see throughout this league.
So Ole Miss in Rupp Arena tomorrow night. Calipari said today the guard Isaiah Briscoe is good to go after turning his ankle before the U of L game. He did not play. It'll be a 7 o'clock tip-off Saturday in Rupp. Now, Louisville coach Rick Pitino was talking today. He said he did not make any obscene gesture when he left the Rupp Arena floor last weekend. He then said again he'd already decided not to do a post-game news conference because he didn't want to talk about the scandal that swirled around his program.
When we go into a press conference in a neighborhood like that, I don't want to hear about the scandal, okay? I don't want to hear about that. That has bothered me every single night. I have not gotten. What bothers me about you is you say, I know everybody's body fat. You must know about this. That pisses me off beyond your wildest dreams, because that took place in Billy Minotti Hall. And we didn't get one recruit. Somebody criminally came onto our campus. I'm pissed off at ESPN for even giving a forum to that person. If they're a crime, now I didn't read the book. You guys read the book, so I only know what people tell me. But if there are crimes being committed, why is the NCAA or ESPN giving a forum to that person?
All right, Pitino directing his anger there at WDRB reporter Rick Bozich, who has written a great deal about the scandal. Pitino's team opens ACC play against Wake Forest this weekend.
Rob, thank you. Now, as for the Cats, after Saturday's game, they will play their next two on the road at LSU and at Alabama. Investigators are trying to figure out what started a deadly fire. It happened about 3:15 this morning on Pendleton Road in Louisville. Firefighters say flames were shooting through the roof when they arrived. The victim has been identified as James Tucker. He died from smoke inhalation. The fire also killed his dog.
There's a massive hunt underway in Israel tonight for a man who opened fire in a popular bar. The shooting in Tel Aviv killed 2 people and injured at least 3 others. The gunman has been identified as an Israeli Arab. His father notified authorities after seeing surveillance video of him on TV. A fire at a luxury hotel continues to smolder today in Dubai. The fire in the high-rise building started just 2.5 hours before the new year. Photographer Dennis Malari was in the hotel preparing to take photos of the city's annual New Year's Eve fireworks display at the time. He quickly discovered there wasn't a safe way out.
I'm on the side of the building. Need help.
If I go there inside to try to go exit, I'm not going to die because of the fire, because of the smoke.
Malari planned to rappel down the building using window washer cables as a last resort, but firefighters found him just as he started going over the edge.
Bill Cosby is reaching out to his fans days after being charged with sexual assault. A tweet sent from his Twitter account Thursday read, "Friends and fans, thank you." Cosby is free on a $1 million bail pending trial. A judge has also ruled Cosby's wife, Camille, must give a deposition in the civil case against him. She's expected to testify next week. It has been a busy day for the people responsible for cleaning up after New Year's Eve in Times Square. Nearly 1 million people packed the area to ring in 2016, leaving behind everything from party hats to confetti and noisemakers. It took several dozen sweepers and collection trucks to clear the mess. Following last year's Times Square celebration, more than 48 tons of debris was hauled away.
Gas prices remain low to start 2016. The average price right now is $2 a gallon. That's the cheapest price on New Year's Day since 2009. AAA says prices will jump at 50 cents during refinery maintenance season next month, but will still be cheaper than last year's average of $2.40 a gallon.